Yeah, please make Chetana ma'am co-host. Dr. Shiva? Yeah, Nitya.
Hello, Chetna ma'am.
Hi, sorry, I was on mute.
Yeah. Hello, ma'am.
Hi. You're at work, Nitya?
No, ma'am, I took a half day leave.
So, totally, how many participants we have?
Good evening, Chetana ma'am.
Good evening, Dolly ma'am. How are you?
Ma'am, your voice is little low.
One sec, one sec. Yeah, now I put it on full. Am I audible now?
No, little bit, little louder. I think you need to adjust
Okay.
voice.
Yeah. I'm doing that.
Jyoshna ma'am, Pani Chaturvedula sir.
Yes, all of us are cleared. Am I audible now?
Can you increase little more, ma'am? Little
Yeah,
clarity.
okay. Yeah, I think now that should be fine. Okay. Josna has logged in. Nitya? No, I think.
Ma'am said she'll be
Hi,
logging.
Chetna.
Hi.
Hi, Nitya.
Yeah, hi, Aruna, ma'am.
Hi.
I think Josna is not yet joined.
She'll be joining.
Oh,
I just spoke to her. She'll be
yes.
joining.
Yeah.
So totally, we have about 300 participants registered, ma'am, Dolly ma'am. Funny sir has joined, Nitya.
Um, no, not yet, I guess, ma'am. I tried contacting him, and Josna ma'am already told me that she sent the details, so he should be joining soon.
Okay, fine. That should be nice.
The international speakers, I think there's, because of the time, there might be slight delay, but I think we can start with the inaugural by 4 o'clock.
We start because
Mm,
it's better we don't lose on the time when they join, and it's better we listen more to them. So we can
yes.
finish these formalities in the meantime that they join us because
Hmm.
I'm not sure of the time zones.
Hello. Hello, Jyotsna ma'am.
Hi, Nitya.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
Welcome to the workshop.
Yeah, thank you.
We're fine, ma'am. Yeah, waiting for Pani, sir.
Ah.
Yeah.
He'll join. Looks like
Hi, Josna.
hi, Chetna.
It's not Chetna, Aruna.
Oh, sorry. Not first Chetna, it can be. Hi, Aruna.
Principal sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Tata.
Good afternoon, Santosh sir.
Good afternoon.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Shall we start, sir?
Yes. Go ahead.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all dear delegates. I, Dr. P. Diana David, Professor, MBA Department, St. Martin's Engineering College, pleased to welcome you all for this first online international workshop that is on for aspiring entrepreneurs. I, on behalf of St. Martin's Engineering College Management, our Chairman, Sri Mari Lakshman Reddy Garu, our Executive Director, Chandrasekhar Yadav Garu, and our young, talented, and dynamic principal, Dr. P. Santosh Kumar Patra sir, Deans, HODs, Department of MBA, welcome all the delegates to this international workshop for aspiring entrepreneurs. Today, we are privileged to have an opportunity to listen to our chief guest, Dr. Jacqueline Williams, Dean, Commerce and BBA from Loyola Academy, Hyderabad, guest of honor, President Neeraja Reddy, Vice President Jyotsna from Kowe, Pani Chaturvedula, keynote speaker from US, panel discussion members, Chetana Dean and Chakravarti from UK. I welcome you all, ma'am, for this wonderful international workshop. I warmly welcome all the members of COVE, Confederation of Women Entrepreneurs, to this international workshop, especially the Telangana chapter. St. Martin's Engineering College, an autonomous institution situated in an eco-friendly environment with state-of-art infrastructure. College has achieved the prestigious grade A+ from NAC and NIRF ranking, UGC Paramash Mentor, NBA accredited, ISO certified, DSIR recognition, remote center of IIT Bombay, member of CII and MSME certified institution, signed more than 88 MOUs with major companies and institutions, Careers 360 certified as AA+, competition success review ranked 3 out of 20, Career Connect ranked 13 best engineering colleges of India, and Wikipedia ranked 8th in Telangana. The college is bestowed with Glorious Governor Award twice. The Engineering Educator Award 2019, NIR DPR Award Government of India, IDF Best Partner Award, Divang Mehta Award, TCS ION Award, CSI Award Students Chapter, Best Innovation by Federation of Gujarat Industries, and Street Course Most Dedicated Division, Best Sports College by Telangana, National Leadership Excellence Award 2019 by ICCI. This international workshop helps the participants to understand the process, challenges, risks, and rewards of starting up a new scalable venture. And it equips them with the tools required to start their own business, improve their chances of successfully starting their own business. This entrepreneurship workshop simulates life in a startup by challenging participants to learn more new modes of team-based problem solving, ideation, and business model development to create a working foundation for a viable company. I hope you all will have a 3 most productive days of interacting, interesting, and simulating teaching and discussions. So with this welcome note, I request our head of the department, Dr. Y. Venkatrangaya sir, to address and talk about the workshop.
Thank you, Dali Diana madam. I, Dr. Y. Venkatrangaya, working as a professor and head of the department in St. Martin Engineering College since 2016. Today, respected principal sir, today chief guest, Dr. Jacqueline madam, Dean of Commerce, and today chief guest, guest of honor, Josna madam Garu, COVE member, COVE vice president, deans, HODs, faculty members from various departments, and delegates from India and outside India. A warm welcome to online international workshop for aspiring entrepreneurs. It is a privilege and honor for me to be a host of this program. On this occasion, I would like to say a few words about our MBA department. The department started in the year 2007. Since then, the department has been made remarkable achievements in result, placement index, student publication, faculty publication, Coursera certification, consultancy projects, and MOUs with the foreign university. And the department has a very good teaching learning process in which ICT method, flipped classroom, brainstorming session, project-based learning, Google Classroom, activity-based learning, industrial visits, MOOCs, and role play, which are all we are implementing in our department, best teaching learning method. So coming to this workshop, as we've seen after the post-pandemic, the entrepreneur role is going to playing a very vital role in the world. So in both countries, a developing country as well as developed countries. So we are organizing this workshop for aspiring entrepreneurs. This program main objective is to encourage self-employment, to provide a knowledge on entrepreneurship, to inculcate entrepreneurial activity into the student minds, to provide a knowledge on government scheme, to motivate the budding entrepreneurs. I hope this program will help you in your personal life as well as the professional life. Finally, I'll thankful to our principal sir, and a special thanks to today's chief guest and guest of honors. And I wish you all the best. Thank you for one and all.
Thank you so much, sir. You are a wonderful HOD who knows how to make every event success and bring out best. Now, before we go for the presidential address, I request Mrs. Sravani to introduce our principal and read the profile.
Good evening, everyone. I, Shravani Balmore, working as assistant professor in St. Martin's Engineering College, thank each and everyone for being here with us today. I'm here to present the profile of our principal, sir. Dr. P. Santosh Kumar Patra is PhD in computer science and have research interest in areas of artificial intelligence, software engineering, data mining, and warehousing, and wireless network. He is recipient of several awards like Governor Award 3 times, Rashtriya Gaurav Award, Rashtriya Vikas Ratan Award, Dronacharya Award, Young Leader of the Year 2019, and IBAE International Award, Dubai. He has got funding worth 86 lakhs from DST, IIT Bombay, and AICTE. Also consulting project worth of 444 crores from GHMC, along with facilitating 300 Akash tablets from IIT Bombay. Professor carries big visions for life with a belief in hard work and strive for excellence. Sir has published 24 patents, 12 books, and 88 plus national and international research papers. He is active member of ISTE, CSI, IANG, MAS PRS USA, senior member of IAC SIT Singapore, SEI EI Canada, and technical advisor for Alexia, Japan. Sir has delivered several guest lectures in different parts of country, and he has been recognized as distinct judge and session chairperson for many international and national conferences and symposium. Recently, he has been invited for higher education conferences organized by TSCHE Government of Telangana and World Education Summit. He has established many funded research and development laboratories and cells like Akash Research Lab, Mobile App Development Incubation Cell, Remote Center of IIT Bombay. We are highly fortunate to have him as a principal, sir, of St. Martin's Engineering College. I request our principal, sir, Dr. P. Santosh Kumar Patra, sir, to address the participants.
So thank you, Shravani Madam, for a very big brief introduction. So first of all, respected Chairman Sri M. Lakshman Reddy, sir, Executive Director Sri G. Chandrasekhar Yadav, sir, Chief Guest of today's program, Dr. Jacqueline, Dean of Commerce from Loyola Academy, Hyderabad, and Guest of Honor, Mrs. Neeraja Reddy, who is the Confederation of Women Entrepreneur President, and all the office bearers and dignitaries of COWE, Hyderabad, and convener of this program, Dr. Y. Venkatarangaya, HOD of MBA Department, and Dr. Dolly Dina, Professor of MBA Department, HODs of all the other department, invited guests, and the department who are this program reality. Participant across the world, a very good afternoon to all of you. So I am Dr. P. Santosh Kumar Patra, Principal of St. Martin Engineering College. Wholeheartedly, I would like to welcome you to this online international workshop for aspiring entrepreneur. So which we are in the process of hosting in association with Confederation of Women Entrepreneur of India, and it is scheduled for 3 days. And today is the first day, and tomorrow and the day after tomorrow also it will be there. So first of all, I would like to congratulate the MBA department, and this is their third online event, and past 2 online events were very grand success. So my sincere appreciation to Dr. Venkatarangaya and Dr. Dolly Dina, and also the entire team member of the MBA department who worked very well and brought out this third international activity through online mode for the benefit of the society. So my appreciation to the department. And based on my information, so more than 300 registration has taken, and it is very rare to see for an online international workshop. So more than 300 registration, that itself is a very remarkable achievement for the department. It shows how much effort and how much interest each coordinator, each convener, and each in charges have taken, so that it has, the information has been disseminated to all these people, and finally we could able to lead to this many big number. And I also appreciate our alumni, Miss Nitya, so who has also backbone for this program and continuously supporting to the department, and we feel proud and happy also that our alumni are still connected with us, and they are parallelly colorful in their career too. So. And the title is quite interesting, like aspiring entrepreneur, and looking into this lockdown period. So as we know that even the Prime Minister himself has told it that, okay, let us develop our own setups, let us develop the products, and let us merchandise the product from our country to other countries. So he has given a tagline for it also, as everybody knows, from local to global. So local to global stands for the development, the manufacturing, everything should happen here. Make it as a local brand and see that the quality and all the parameters are maintained so well, so that it will become a global product. So from national to international product, it should go. So that is why scope for entrepreneurs and scope for this entrepreneurs and scope for any kind of small or middle or big level of business in India is very bright. So finally, always I feel, okay, the strength of the country or the strength of the state is, it depends upon purely on the entrepreneurs. So everybody should have that gist and interest. And no, many people, they think when they were the student or their young days, many days they think that they wanted to become a successful entrepreneur, but there was no scope. There are many number of doubts and questionnaires were there in their mind, like how to start, how to register the company. So is it all like proprietorship? Is it all like LLP? Is it all like private limited company? How to go about it? Is it all necessary to register for the GST? How the funding will happen? So there are n number of questions which comes to the mind. Finally, the dream which was conceived in the mind, so the day comes, immediately it dies there only. It doesn't come to the reality. So that is why I really appreciate to the department for coining a beautiful title, which is the need of the hour, so that all the participants will be enlightened with all the processes, how they have to undergo if they are interested to become an entrepreneur. So because I was also looking into the profile of the speakers, and also I was looking into the content, which are all going to be delivered today, day after tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. Really, I request all the participants to be active and attentive, so that no, the real benefit will reach to them. And there are many doubts and many queries which will be solved in this continuous 3 days of workshop, what is all scheduled today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow. So talking about the entrepreneurship and all, it is not a new concept. There are many success stories. So I could able to recognize, recall one lady named as Patricia Narayan. Everybody you might be knowing. So how she struggled and started her life within a hand cart vehicle where she used to sell the food items. And finally now, within a 20 years of struggling period and business model and all, now it is a very big hotel chain. So she is a very big successful entrepreneur, being a single lady. And now even I can give another example of everybody might be knowing her also, Jyoti Reddy. So Jyoti Reddy started her life like a labor, daily labor, what we get it, no, in the market. So like that, she started her life. And now she is become the CEO of the Keys restaurant. So it is an international brand, and everywhere Keys restaurants are available. And another example which is coming to my mind is named as this Indra Nui. Indra Nui also, she started her career like a receptionist. So people think that, no, okay, this is what my fate of life. But you see how the turning points comes. Okay, she started her career as a receptionist, and now she is the CEO of a PepsiCo company. And another very popular and our own favorite is Harlad Sander, who is the founder of the KFC, the Kentucky Fried Chicken. So how he started his business at the age of 65, and now the rest all, it is all known in the form of a success story and history. So these are all small case studies which is always there for us to motivate and to learn. So what is the message of all this? So there is no age limit, and there is no like community limit, or there is no any kind of challenges which we should be facing. Only the thing is we need to have a ignited mind where the idea has to be initiated and conceived. So undoubtedly there are paths, there are ways, there are wills, we will able to succeed. So with this note, so I appreciate the department, and wholeheartedly I would like to express my thankfulness to Dr. Jacqueline, and as well as their kind consent to be with us. And also I would like to appreciate the entire team member of COWE who has supported us for bringing out this title and the workshop and making it as a grand success. So lastly, appreciate to the department and the coordinator. Very well you have organized, and all the very best for the participants, and have a fruitful learning, and let us expect very good outcomes should come out, and we will all will be benefited out of it. So thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity. Have a great day ahead. I am signing out, Dr. Santosh Kumar Patra.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your constant encouragement and wholehearted support at all stages of this workshop. We are really grateful, and we gratefully acknowledge the inspiring guidance and suggestions throughout in organizing this international workshop, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Now, before we go for the chief guest, I request Monisha to present the profile of our chief guest, Dr. Jacqueline Williams. Over to Monisha.
A very good evening to one and all present here. I'm Monisha of MBA department, delighted to present the profile of Dr. Jacqueline Williams. Dr. Jacqueline Williams is currently the Dean of Commerce and a BBA at Loyola Academy, Hyderabad. She has been successfully teaching at the graduate and postgraduate programs since 3 decades. After taking into consideration her contribution to Loyola, the management decided that she would fit the role of Dean in Commerce perfectly. She is responsible for academic excellence in the Commerce Department and believes in creating values and executing the department activities. She has a strong interest in promoting undergraduates' research as important means of enhancing students' learning and engagement. Teaching is her passion. Dr. Jacqueline Williams has always excelled in all spheres of her academic life. She holds myriad of degrees in MCOM, MBA, BEd, MPhil, and PhD. Dr. Jacqueline commenced her career at Staley Degree and PG College as a faculty member and then spearheaded the institution as a principal, winning 2 consecutive awards as a best principal. She has participated and presented around 20 national and international articles. She has also been the track chair for the 4th International Conference on Marketing and Business Strategy in ICFAI University, Hyderabad. She also invited to chair the session at the first virtual international conference of business management, innovation, and sustainability in MIT University, Dubai. She addressed the faculty and students across the college in India as a keynote speaker at Hindi Mahavidyalaya for their national webinar on online education problems and prospects. Apart from this, she is a prolific writer and has several books to her credit. To name a few, the books are Business Law, Principle of Insurance, Strategic Management, Hospital and Healthcare Management, GST, Business Communication, Retail Marketing, and some of which are in the process of publishing. She has co-authored a report on microfinance for the UGC SAR project in 2010. In addition to all this, she is also associated with several institutions as audit member, advisory member, and member board of studies. Her special interest area includes marketing management, consumer behavior, human resource management, and cost management. And now I request Dr. Jacqueline Williams to address further. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monisha, for those kind words. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
It is my joy and privilege this evening to be present for this first virtual international workshop for aspiring entrepreneurs this evening. I thank Dr. Venkata Ragaya, the HOD. I thank the dynamic principal, Dr. Santosh Patra. I thank Mrs. Dolly Diana for constantly being in touch with me. I thank the whole department for this wonderful job. I also welcome all the participants, the students, the faculty, the entrepreneurs, and the budding entrepreneurs from India and across the world. The theme for today is a workshop for aspiring entrepreneurs, wake-up call, scope and opportunities and challenges, that is from going from local to global. Now, who is an entrepreneur? I think Dr. Santosh has already coined this particular definition, but I will also define it. An entrepreneur undertakes a venture, organizes it, raises capital to finance it, and assumes the whole task and also the risk of the business. In other words, he is in the process of giving birth to a new business. And in the words of Peter Drucker, who has said, an entrepreneur always searches for change. He responds to it and exploits it as an opportunity. In other words, an entrepreneur responds to changes and he exploits the opportunity. as the economy gets tighter, these businesses will start to disappear. There are now needs to reset around how we look at entrepreneurship as a skill and talent and what it takes to start and lead a successful company. Now we have on the screen a very enterprising and famous Indian entrepreneur, that is the CEO of Infosys, Mr. Narayan Murthy. He has set the trend for a talent called integrity. To quote him, a clear conscience is the best pillow in the world. Well, in order to be an entrepreneur, we will see very shortly what qualities you need to be an entrepreneur. But before going to that, I was reading about the profile of our very own Sachin Tendulkar. Many of us love the game of cricket. And Sachin Tendulkar is a versatile professional. And according to him, he keeps it simple. He watches the ball and plays on merit. In other words, the quality that he gives to the younger generation is on focus. He watches the ball. He is well focused in his game. Secondly, he believes in himself, and that is why he is a success. Hard work always pays, and it is said that in order to be successful in the field, off the field, he plays early in the morning in the nets as a practice. Next, he is skillful and believes in team effort. It is said that without vision, people perish. He has a clear vision for the game. No wonder he is on the top. Finally, he is goal-oriented. He looks at the ball and plays his game. He is definitely goal-oriented and a focused professional. Now, why did I choose this? We need to apply the same perspective, how we view the talents and skill set of our best athletes, to teach entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship and to become entrepreneurs. Now, these entrepreneurs whom we just saw, our very own Mr. Narayan Murthy, we have Mr. Sundar Pichai. They have the entrepreneurial DNA that allowed them to hone their skills in the first place. There's a saying that entrepreneurs are born and not made. Well, the entrepreneurs need a number of skill sets. Let us have a look at what makes a successful entrepreneur. The qualities. Now, Richard Branson has an inner drive to succeed. So in order to be a successful entrepreneur and grow your business, you don't need a degree. Of course, in order to learn the nuances of it, you do need a degree. But in order to succeed, you need to put the degree into practice. The first mark of a successful entrepreneur is that of a dreamer. You need to dream big. Secondly, innovation is the key to any business. All entrepreneurs have a passion and a desire to do things better and to improve their products and services. They are constantly looking for ways to improve. Thirdly, another capability that is very important is that of the ability to organize. First of all, when you are good at planning, automatically your ability to organize too comes to the fore. Fourthly, you need an independent spirit to take the organization forward. And along with an independent spirit, you need to take risks. Risks and innovation go hand in hand. As a leader, people are looking up to you. We have so many beautiful leaders. You can take examples from them. This evening, you just saw the principal, Dr. Patra. His profile was so beautiful. I think each one of you at the organization and the students can learn a lot. He is a perfect decision maker. Now, coming to an entrepreneur, he needs to lead the organization forward. He needs to take the right decisions at the right time for the right moment for the organization to really succeed in the arena. Next, a continuous leader. In order to be an entrepreneur, you need to be a leader all the time in the battlefield of an organization. And you need to be open to change. Change is the only constant, and therefore, an entrepreneur can only succeed if he is ready to change. Another skill that is needed by an organization or an entrepreneur is that of negotiation. He needs to have this skill set, and negotiation regularly comes when people, and especially the entrepreneur, has to move about with people. He moves about with consumers, with other business leaders, with workers, with government officials, etc. He needs to communicate tactfully. So this is all the mark of a successful entrepreneur, and the list is exhaustive. I've just taken 5 or 6 or whatever. Now let's go to the global arena. Now we are talking about global entrepreneurs. We have the latest, who is Jack Ma, who is the co-founder of Alibaba. And according to him, players never fight. They are businessmen and entrepreneurs who have no enemies. Once he puts this in his mind, automatically the sky is the limit. So who are these global entrepreneurs? They are individuals who have the global advantage, and they understand with a global network, they can utilize the value creating endeavors. Now, what are the success factors in global entrepreneurship? I've listed only 3 for want of time. Firstly, there are market factors. Now, many firms are in the global scenario, and they need to globalize in markets, and there is fall of tariff barriers and other legal barriers to trade, and this helps them to trade in the global arena. Secondly, time and again, there are changes in technology, and that entrepreneur who is aware of the various changes and imbibes them in his company or in his startup will be the global entrepreneur very soon. Thirdly, in an age of strategic alliances and collaborations, there is the changing nature of firms, and more firms are coming together and being borderless. We come to the next, the challenges. There are plenty of challenges. I'm sorry. The greater complexity in the international scenario is that entrepreneurs have to compete with one another. And although they can be a success, but there are so many complexities. Secondly, there are second and third, two types of businesses will have to compete in a very fierce manner. Firstly, you have small businesses who will face specialized global competition, and this will mean the erosion of their markets as well as the profitability. Secondly, large businesses too will have the erosion of their markets because there is the event of global competitors who are already there across the world, and they will be competing with them. And of course, you have the various problems. One of them we are going through today. Economies are bogged down by poverty, by climate change, by famine, by health, by inequality, and the latest addition is that of the virus. So in spite of all this, global entrepreneurs should lead the change. Along with the challenges, you do have the opportunities. Now, a global entrepreneur can always tap the global market. Secondly, he can minimize the risk of declining markets. In a country like America, where the markets, where the entrepreneurs are facing declining markets, they can always surge ahead to other countries and still earn their profits. Thirdly, another great opportunity is availing the technological opportunities that come along with global entrepreneurship. Countries are always in the forefront many a time because there is the assistance given from the home country. I will tell in detail when I'm doing the next slide. Now, our topic for today is that of the aspiring entrepreneurs. So I thought I will dwell more on this. Many of the audience here are either budding entrepreneurs, students who are thinking of having their own startups. Many of the student community too are present in this workshop today. So let me encourage you and urge you, dear students, to think of becoming entrepreneurs. The world today is saturated. Many people have lost their jobs. The only positivity around is for you who have earned your degrees to become an aspiring entrepreneur. So think about it. You have many pros here that is there listed on the screen. India has a large population. So it is a labor intensive economy. So you can make use of the people in order to work under you. And more people are getting educated. And there is a change in the mindset of the working class today. As more and more people come out of their homes, they work, and especially women, we are having more and more women entrepreneurs. And that is a very positive outcome of today's education. And another feature is that not only government through the Make in India campaign and other initiatives like Startup India, the Mudra Yojana, the SETU, the eBiz portal, the royalty tax, etc., but also multinationals, other organizations, our own Indian entrepreneurs are giving so much of impetus to aspiring entrepreneurs in order to set up their startups. So here is a chance for you, my dear budding entrepreneurs, to come forward and really spill your idea and open your own startup in India. Now, in conclusion, we know that the current economic scenario in India may be looking bleak at the moment, but there is good news for you. We are in an expansion mode. There is a lot of enthusiasm for entrepreneurship in the form of Make in India, Startup India, etc. And for the aspiring entrepreneurs, the environment is very healthy. It is stated that life's battles don't always go to the strongest and the fastest man, but the man who thinks he can. The young students present here, you are the future of India. You can build your competence, foster entrepreneurship, and design innovative thinking as you aspire, inspire, and achieve your goals of entrepreneurship. Go out of your comfort zone and excel, exceed, and experience. I wish you all a blessed future, and these 3 days of the international workshop, I hope you will hone your skills and increase your ability. And I hope that this workshop will provide you an opportunity to come forward, because India today is waiting for more entrepreneurs. All the best and God bless.
Thank you, ma'am, for speaking to all our delegates. We are grateful for the time and the effort you took to share your thoughts and experience with us. Thank you once again, ma'am, for your contribution. Now I request our student Aisha to introduce COVE, and I request Josna ma'am to inaugurate the program. Over to Aisha.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, one and all present here. I am Aisha Sehda of MBA Department, St. Martin's Engineering College. Confederation of Women Entrepreneur India is a national association of women business owners that works to profile women entrepreneurs into economic, social, and political spheres of power. Confederation of Women Entrepreneur India is an ISO and NABET Gold certified not-for-profit organization which provides a woman entrepreneur a facilitative culture through training, counseling, knowledge sharing, and hand-holding through their project. COVE's vision is to build a group of women who are economically empowered, valued citizens of the nation by combining the dormant talent, skills, practical knowledge, and resources of women with dedication and commitment. COVE's mission is to enhance women's opportunity by creating a resource based on technical, management, marketing skills, finance, infrastructure, and equipment to promote entrepreneurship. The slogan of COVE is Gearing Women Power. It was inaugurated on 22nd December 2004 by Honorable Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Shri Y.S. Rajshekhar Reddy at Jubilee Hills, Hyderabad. COVE supports a woman entrepreneur from the ideation stage to the success and goes further by celebrating their successes. COVE is now a truly national body being present in 10 states of India and expanding rapidly into more. The Confederation of Women Entrepreneurs is an NGO social organization engaged in the social and economic upliftment of women through entrepreneurship. Now, I would like to introduce Vice President of COVE, Ms. Jyotsna Cherubu. She is a National Committee member of COVE. Ms. Jyotsna is the current Vice President of Confederation of Women Entrepreneurs and is very passionate about women entrepreneurship by developing their professional growth. She is awarded with the Best Entrepreneur by COVE for the years 2014 and 15. She stands as a motivation to many enterprising women in achieving their goals. Now I request Ms. Jyotsna Cherubu to inaugurate the workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayesha. You made my job easier. You told so much about COVID. So, yeah, so good evening, one and all. First, I would like to start with today's chief guest, Dr. Jacqueline, for her wonderful presentation, where she summed up everything about entrepreneurship in her PPT. That's great, madam. And then I could hear the energetic voice of Dr. Santosh Kumar Patra, who's the principal, and then Dr. Rangai Garu, who's the HOD, and of course, Dr. Dolly Diana, madam, with whom I have been interacting for quite a long time, who is a very energetic and a positively contributing woman. So, and then, yeah, we have Nitya also, who is I would say the bridge between the college and COVE, because Nitya represents our young COVE here. So, so esteemed professors, the guests, today's speakers, and my COVE team. I have Chetna, who is our secretary here, Kalpana, who is our joint secretary here, and my other executive committee members and COVE members who are present, and all those students who have registered with a lot of enthusiasm for this workshop. I warmly welcome one and all to this event. I thank St. Martin's College, especially Dolly Madam, for giving us this opportunity to join hands with you and to interact with so many budding entrepreneurs. Thanks a lot, Dolly Ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Welcome.
Yeah. As Ayesha has been mentioning, I would like to say a few words about COVE. COVE is an organization which has started in 2014. The main aim or purpose why we have started COVE is to promote women empowerment through entrepreneurship. So what we do at COVE is basically conduct structured entrepreneurship development programs. People have many ideas, and some have assumptions that entrepreneurship is too tough, not my cup of tea. And some people think I have an idea, so I can make millions. So what we do at COVE is to bring a structure to all these ideas, to remove these fears and fallacies or assumptions which are holding for people about entrepreneurship by conducting a 15-day entrepreneurship development program, which is structured right from the ideation to a project report, interacting with the bankers, understanding what are the government schemes that are available so that you can move forward. So apart from that, we also go to rural areas. We also go to the underprivileged women, where we do a lot of skill development programs to them, like stitching, then beautician courses, and then we also teach them some videography, and we also do pottery courses, and so many such kind of courses we conduct to these women, so that they can become enterprising themselves, or at least they can join somebody who's already in the business and be helpers to them. So it's a lot of food processing industry also, we do a lot of work on that area also. And apart from that, we also do a lot of marketing support to these women. Means we give a 360-degree support to entrepreneurship for women. So starting from training, then what you need once you are ready with your products, you need marketing. So we create a marketing platform in the form of exhibitions, COVE Marts. We connect you to the other big buyers. We do vendor development programs so that you can connect yourself to these people and then sell your product. So this is, and then in between you need some training on business etiquettes or your leadership or your management ability or any technical support. So we do this 360 degrees development of entrepreneurship at COVE. And we also have a wing called Young COVE, where we make the college students also be being a part of it, and learn entrepreneurship, do some voluntary work along with us in our areas of work, so that they develop a passion towards it. So this is what our Young COVE does, and Nitya here is the in charge for Young COVE. So those who are interested to be part of it can later contact Nitya and can be a part of it. So I welcome all those young women, but students to be a part of our Young COVE. So this is about the thing. And for all the students, and you will be, if you are willing to learn, if you are enthusiastic, if you are paying attention, then I'm sure you will get the same kind of what I already spoke about, the 360 degrees view in these 3 days, right from opportunities to how to grab opportunities, to make a business plan, to understand what is resources available around you. And then finally, on the third day, you can go and see how a business plan is prepared. So this is how we are, along with St. Martin's, along with Dolly ma'am, we have planned this event so that people start understanding what it is all about. And then finally, when they go back confidently, making up their mind if they want to be more enterprising. And the first fundamental rule of any entrepreneurship or any enterprising personality is, if you invest 100 rupees, you want to take 1,000 rupees back. I know how these online programs run, like, people just log in, put their video off and audio off, and then they just keep doing many things. So what I request to all the students is, please, if you have invested 100 rupees, take 1,000 rupees out of it. So make the best use of these programs and make our vision, our purpose of holding this entire workshop a grand success. So once again, I thank St. Martin's for giving COVE this opportunity. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, ma'am. On behalf of St. Martin's Engineering College, I extend my heartfelt thanks for entire COVE team. You have supported a lot in organizing this workshop. Really, I'm very thankful you, ma'am. Now, before we start the program, so I request Likita to introduce our keynote speaker, Pani Chaturvedula.
Good evening and warm welcome to respected faculty and honored guests. My name is Likita, pursuing MBA first year. It is a great honor. He is a managing director at Ernst & Young LLP USA in the data and analytic technology consulting practice. He has over 20+ years of consulting experience in building data solutions that help clients differentiate their product and service offering. His advisory focus area include use of digital and data technology for transforming business process in the financial service sector. He is also responsible for developing go-to-market strategy, people management, and talent acquisition. His additional interests include mentoring and coaching with aspiring graduate students on leveraging technology for building differentiated service and products. One of his published papers include Make in India, Financing Manufacturing Through Crowdfunding and Sourcing Model. He is also a speaker and panelist at annual Rose Asia and India Business Conference at University of Michigan, USA. He is the executive sponsor and judge on EY-sponsored Datathon student competitions at the university level. Pani did his Bachelor's of Engineering from NIT Jaipur, India, and obtained MBA from Rhodes School of Business University at Michigan, USA, with a focus on general management and strategy. Now I request Pani Chaturvedula sir to address the gathering. Thank you.
Thank you, Likita. So you introduced me well enough now. I don't have to speak about myself, but first of all, thanks for St. Martin's and COVE to have me on this speaker list, and feel very fortunate to be on the speaker. And also it's at the right moment, right? Like, what I mean by saying the right moment is the entire world is going through a global pandemic situation, and across the board, some countries are doing well, some countries are still in the mode of battling out this virus and the pandemic, not just from a health perspective, but really from an economic impact perspective, right? So irrespective of that, any problem for us leaves us an opportunity. And I think the opportunity at large for us, we need to take a look at it is what is the mode of the recovery? And then how as an entrepreneur, we will be part of that recovery, have that early sight of what that problem is going to be in the future, then how can we gear up, right? And I can't say how good this seminar is from a timing perspective, right? This gives us explore the opportunity to speak virtually, without COVID. I would have not even imagined having this level of participation across, right? Typically we are used to in-person meetings and in-person seminars and in-person, dialogue or a speaker series. But this is a wonderful way of organizing it. And this leads us into the future, right? Many much more things can be done. And what we already proved, everybody, including the educational institutions in India, have done a wonderful job to scale up, right? In a very short term of to scale up the digital platform for education and all that. So what I'm going to do a little bit of a focus around, I'm just going to share my screen here. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So what I want to really highlight, right? So we all worried about economic impact and all that, but really, if you see what are the general sources saying, like leading economic sources saying, the number one, many of us were not here to witness the Great Depression, but it is comparable to the Great Depression in 1929. And then the second thing, many institutions have said that this will lead.
ఒక వెబినార్ అదే ఆన్లైన్ వెబినార్ నడుస్తుంది. ఎక్కడున్నావు ఇప్పుడు? అవి తీసుకున్నావా డీటెయిల్స్ అన్ని?
Can the admin mute the speaker, please? Other who are speaking. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this particular one is also, people say that is worse than the 2008-2009 global economic and financial crisis, and I would echo that, because I've seen that. I've lived through that recession, and I survived the job industry personally, when the bad things were happening in the financial industry, and I was working in the financial industry. I can vouch for that. This pandemic is a little bit different than that. In 2008-2009, yeah, the financial services were hit, but the rest of the businesses were going as usual, meaning the travel industry, planes were taking off, people were traveling, people were eating in the restaurants and all that, right? So this one is a much more, from a scale perspective, has a huge impact. And then the overall global GDP, right, which is going to be contracting -3% and -3.2% in 2020. And then the two major economies, right, from a growth perspective, typically India and China, which have been doing it anywhere between, whatever sources you look at, they were expected to grow at a 5 to 7%. And they contracting that growth, and which is 0.7%, between China and India. And that means that, it's a big dent in the world consumption, right? And India and China being the key drivers for many of the Western economies. This is not so good news. Then, so from a what is that big thing that's in order for us to see the recovery, right? We are almost in, everybody is battling still. If you see this circle, the containment, transition, and recovery, and then nobody knows yet how long is this transition and how long is the recovery going to be, because at the best right now, we're all looking at this containment, and then that containment, maybe until the vaccine comes out and all that, 6-7 months and all that, right? So, but it is important that between the containment and recovery, there is this phase of transition, and that phase of transition involves a lot of trust. So when I say trust, for example, we've seen during this crisis, Domino's has introduced a contactless delivery. I don't know in India, but in US, they call that as a contactless delivery, and they prove the customers that the pizza is never touched in the process. And then they follow the social distancing during this, right? So those type of trust enabled opportunities will be heavy in the transition phase, right? And that opens up many opportunities, either be it as simple as government instilling the trust in the citizens through the digital applications, and then kind of like, telling the citizens like, where the COVID hotspots are and all that, right? That's number one. The number two is any contactless service, any cashless payments is going to be like, during the transition heavy, right? People want that, don't want another pandemic to be coming in, at least for the next 5 to 10 years, right? These things will remain as, the new business models. And then many employees want to return to work, but at the same time, they're relying on the employers to kind of like, bring in that trust factor, saying like, we're going to do some temperature checks, we're going to clean the premises, we're going to minimize the contact between the people. So all those measures, the onus is on the employers, but at the same time, employees are more and more willing to come back to work. But that means that, trust needs to be established. And then we've seen many kitchens now have become open kitchens. They don't want to close up because, again, the factor is the trust here, right? In order to thrive in the business, I want to make it an open kitchen. I want the customers to see what I'm making and how I'm making. At the same time, like, they are putting stalls in the open outside dining areas so that, it's less contactless and all that. So long story short, like, the businesses are adapting to build that trust. And without that trust factor, either be the governments putting a trust on the citizens, which then like, citizens have that confidence and the businesses have established that trust. Now the citizens are buying goods and services. And then finally, the educational institutions, like, we all have kids, and everybody want their kids to be in the schools and the colleges. So that's an important equation. Educational institutes play a major role in this recovery because, like, they are the ones that leading the education and then front end side of it, right? So it becomes an onus on them to also be in this trust factor and educate the citizens in a way that, like, how best to transition from the containment to the recovery, and be it, increasing the digital online footprint so that, like, they adopt this new digital online education, but can give the comfort to both the students and the kids. So I think, like, not long on this particular one, the message that I want to really say that, like, anything, be it a small or a big, from an entrepreneur perspective, I would think about in this containment to recovery zone, how do we transition and what is that trust enablement that we could give an opportunity? That trust could be as simple as installing a hygiene product at the front of an office, to all the way to build a digital application to kind of like measure the impact of, like, work, on a cell phone with the CEOs accessing it, right? So it gives a fair number of, like, opportunities for the young entrepreneurs to think through, but at the same time, like, being part of that transition and the recovery. Moving on, like, so one, like, what now everybody asks, like, what is the opportunity for India? And now, like, I want to go back to a little bit of a history of the 16th and 17th century, right? So India and China were the dominating two world economies, right? Like during the 15th and the 16th century. And with the companies like East India and all that, like, Portuguese coming in, the traders establishing European, the economy shifted from these powerhouses into the Europe and what we call the industrialization and all that, right? So that economy, like, shifted to the Europe and all it included is taking the raw material and making those industrial powerhouses. And then slowly, like, US dominated this over a period of time. And then until the 1970s, 1980s, you have seen the US has become the powerhouse. So now, like, again, that powerhouse is now, like, for whatever reasons, China is now the #1 manufacturing leader in the world, and India being the #1 in the services world, right? So obviously, like, the economy continues to flow, right? One way or the other, wherever there is a gravity in terms of, like, the economy tends to flow from from the cost conscious customer to like, low cost productivity and high efficiencies, right? So that is given irrespective of whether we have the pandemic or not. That was bound to happen, and it was projected India and China are going to be dominating until the 2050. So India has got a brighter opportunity. But with this COVID, the situation is demanding to accelerate that, right? Like, why is that? There's a great demand to accelerate the opportunity in India. One, like, the supply chain disruptions, and many of you know, right? Like, due to the COVID-19, which heavily saw like, Chinese dependency on the manufacturing basis. Now they are thinking about, because of some of the companies couldn't even get their goods delivered, like, even the demand was there, but every supply chain was like, disrupted because of the COVID-19. So they had to wait months and months, like, to get their shipments through. So now, like, the industry is general thinking, like, how do we mitigate this risk, right? So they would still continue to have the low cost supply chain markets, but they would like to distribute that. Meaning, like, they will simply follow, we are seeing a trend that 30-30-40 type scenario, where in 30 they keep it local, 30 they keep it in another alternate world, and then 40 as a low cost world, right? So you're seeing like those kind of supply chain disruptions, and that's a great, India needs to compete for that. Then new supply chain opportunities, like, that would open up because of this. Like, for example, like, Japanese government recently said, like, anybody who wants to relocate outside of China, we're going to give you a $2 billion stimulus. And guess what? Like, where are they going to look at it? So they will look at it, obviously, alternate market, which is India in this case. And then the establishing of the new manufacturing hubs, like, because of all these supply chains rejiggering, right? Once you have a manufacturing hub in place, the next, like, as long as you give that flexibility, you give that openness, you give that transparency, thankfully to a democratic government, India has got a, like, great opportunity here, right? So combining all of these together, right? And in India, we have already various levels of, like, industry initiatives that that are taking place. But, like, if it has to be, like, globally competitive, there needs to be some certain, like, changes that need to happen. And that changes doesn't have to be a wholesale set of changes, but at a minimum, it would start with the government opening up the markets for various industries, and then giving them enough concession as part of, like, their Make in India campaign here, right? So government policy making becomes utmost important, right? Like, like some of the speakers were saying, and especially organizations like where Jyotsna was talking about, COVE, they are very, very important for such an initiative, where they can take some of the hardships of the entrepreneurs and then work with the government. We are not expecting in the type of environment where an individual entrepreneur has to deal with the government, right? And that's why some of these organizations exist where they can influence the government policy making, and that results in the changing the competitiveness of the traditional manufacturing base, right? When I say the competitiveness of the traditional manufacturing, you're manufacturing a pin in China and you're manufacturing a pin in India. But if you want to compete globally, do you want to change your traditional manufacturing base to be at par with what the global competition market is? And that requires some kind of, like, change in the approach and change in the pattern, change in the process, right? And then the change in the way, like, you handle the raw material and all that. Then the second one is, like, help corporates invest in a mix of digital and traditional manufacturing. And then, like, this is where the technology, like, where today every manufacturing step, right, technically can be monitored, from a single location. And then the expected productivity can be compared to the baseline metrics, and then you can halt the production if something is going wrong from somebody sitting remote. You don't have to be in the factory outlet, right? So some of these things are like, how can the traditional manufacturing process enabled with the mix of digital and the modern innovation. Then the last thing is also equally very important, right? The educational institutes, we know like many of the educational institutes in India, have delivered quality education and continue to do so. But the important aspect is many institutions have not been very successful and to kind of like promote that industry and the educational institute tie-up, right? Some do, but not to the extent like where we have seen in other countries, like especially in US, where that education and industry tie-back becomes an important thing. Not that India cannot do it, but I think like now we have to see this as an opportunity to kind of like expand that horizon, because it is always good. It is always good to have the industry in the educational institutes. And then it doesn't have to be always a big company. It can be as small as the lady entrepreneur that Josna was referring to in the villages, right? How she promotes that aspect of entrepreneurship in the remote areas. It could be as simple as that, right? Working with them to kind of understanding the learnings. And at the end of the day, if you want to make yourself a good entrepreneur, you want the students to be understanding the real life, right? Not from the projects that they do in the education institutes, but really having that good exposure to outside. That would make the differentiator here. Then some of you said earlier talked about the challenges in entrepreneurship and why it is important to kind of have those preliminary challenges identified, right? So I want to touch upon that point, right? Every startup, they have challenges, right? They have the idea, but they do not really know, how do I, as simple as where do I go for funding, right? And then many do not know what type of government regulations exist, either be it opening a bank account on a personal bank account versus a corporate bank account, right? So and how do I incorporate my company, right? So those are very, very basic questions, right? Then they start, but they don't anticipate or inability to see the early spots, right? Blind spots. And in order for them to kind of overcome that, the only way they can do this is work with other matured enterprises or matured entrepreneurs who have seen this, who have lived with this, and have that advice, right? And then platforms like COVE, and that's where they become a very, very important, right? And COVE is one of the organizations, but there could be many other, right? So having that tie up with the organizations that oversee this entrepreneurship and give you a network broader, so that for you, when you have a particular problem to solve, you're not solving it by yourself because you have not done there, right? But somebody else has solved the problem. So that network aspect is a very, very important thing for entrepreneurship. And today, I see a lot of good things happening in Hyderabad, right? In just the Hyderabad circle, many of the budding entrepreneurs, they team up with the seed funding companies and all that, right? But I want to take it that to the organizations of COVE were doing a tremendous job at the macro and micro level, right? So at the grassroots level, everything is an entrepreneurship. It doesn't have to be only a digital application or a technology application. It can be as simple as providing the classic example I always say, the Idli Dosa Batter Company, ID, right? Whom did we when did we think in Indian context Idli Dosa Batter Company would become such a large company, right? So an idea can be smart, an idea needs to be implemented right at the right footage, right at the right point, and then take it to the next level. So all at the unknown stage, you should always be open for seeking the advice from the matured audience, right? The reason because you want to solve all these key startup challenges that I have outlined here, right? So any problem could be a major problem for a startup because they don't have the bandwidth to solve it first, and they don't have the skills to solve it, right? So that's why I think like the overall college industry and then the matured industry, I would say, right? The relationship becomes very, very important, and only the entrepreneurship can only begin at the right educational institutes, right? Because they are the learning zones for us, and that's the place where the innovation happens and ideas come up. And then I think like today's call or the seminar is a kind of a true testimony to St. Martin's College and their department heads and the principal taking time to kind of like arrange this one, but importantly spreading the message of why it is important, more important during this current pandemic. Then and then one last topic that that is emerging across the world, and I'm sure in India too, this would come through, is the aspect around the gig economy, right? And this is one of the EY India report, and this is not EY US, right? Which is kind of a cool thing. They're saying in India, the accelerated move towards gig economy. What is gig economy? Employers are no longer hiring full-time employees, right? So based on a skill, so somebody is very skilled craftsman, then he needs to come and arrange a particular range of furniture in an office. Then you don't have to necessarily work for an architectural firm. Architectural firm can always call you on a need basis, saying hey, you're a freelancer, just connect with me, and then the organization seeking the short-term assignments, you can be part of that gig economy, right? You're going to bid in, you're going to market it yourself. So that's one of the reason why entrepreneurship doesn't have to be always setting up an industry. How entrepreneurial you are in your thinking, how can you network that? So very soon in the next 2-3 years, this is going to kick off in many multi faceted arrangements. Even for college education institutes, you don't have to hire a full-time professor every time, right? So for a particular topic, for an emerging topic, especially the world is heading towards a technology-driven innovation, you cannot hire a computer scientist to teach how to do the digital revolution, right? From a business process perspective. So that's an opportunity for many, right? You can sign up to become a freelancer. But the key thing is, again, there are talent exchanges that are being established, right? And then you are going to be part of that talent exchange instead of you searching a job. Now, the employers would come back, but that requires a specialization, right? I mean, you need to specialize in a particular word, right? Either you are specializing yourself in a finance acumen, you can prepare income statements, balance sheets, and all that, right? Or you can prepare a marketing strategy plan for entrepreneurs, right? And then that's another opportunity. So a long story short, what the point that I'm trying to say is that you need to have a platform. The talent exchanges will be created shortly in Indian context also. Some of them exist, but not as prevalent. But this would be the gig economy that would be very similar to the Uber or Ola type environment where you are signing up over there as a driver, you are becoming an entrepreneur and then onto the Uber platform. But think of an Uber where just not the car driving is a problem, but rest of the problem, you can sign up the freelancers and the market can interact with those talent exchanges. So last summary, how can the colleges, in the context of this call, how can they prepare for the gig economy? So some of this, teach the basic skills to work independently. What I mean by that is how many of the students on the ABA college can write a business proposal? How do they manage, when they put the business together, do they have the acumen to build the negotiation? Then if you have to build a contract, do they have the contract negotiation skills? Then how do they execute a marketing and a branding strategy? All these are taught in the MBA school, but can they really implement it from an independent, skills, right? That's number one, right? In order to groom the entrepreneurs, getting a job in a company is different than starting a job for yourself, right? So in order to teach that, you need to work independently, and those basic skills need to be taught. Then expand your career services to kind of more look at the gig economy jobs, if there is an opportunity to tie up with the talent exchanges, what are those talent exchanges looking at, and how can you get up your skill sets, not just to the career campus placement services and all, but how can you expand your career services to more align with your gig economy jobs? Then thankfully, the online coursework, right, for whatever reason, pandemic has resulted, we all shifted to this online world, but maybe there is an opportunity there too, in terms of now you have, you can schedule the classes, and then you can put in those, classes on demand, and then see how you can lead that independent work, right? So that needs to be, again, tied back with your career services and the offers to the campus, so that, in addition to the campus recruitment and all that, you can also be part of the gig economy. So lastly, to conclude, I would say, it's at the right moment, educational institutes come together with a focus on the entrepreneurial skills. And more importantly, that should be driven through the industry and, education institutes collaboration. Then finally, work with, some of the policy making things like COVE and other organizations where you have a good view of that government policy towards the small to medium businesses, but advertise effectively in your students, boardrooms and whatever, right? And then that's the way you can encourage students to take the path of the entrepreneurship, right? So that's in a nutshell what I wanted to really cover, with the message that, yes, we have seen, economy being in not in a good shape, but this is an opportunity that India has got now to accelerate. Eventually, India will become an economic powerhouse, but now the time is, the world is questioning, India, can you accelerate this, and how far can you take it? So the onus is on us, every one of us, including the students who are aspiring in your college, to all the way to the entrepreneurs who are established. Right? Thank you for the opportunity, and really wonderful to see everybody here.
Thank you so much, sir. Your
Thank you
depth of
so much, sir.
knowledge, your depth of knowledge and understanding produced wonderful insights in the workshop. Thank you, sir, for your stimulating keynote address. Many of us are at standstill in our progress, and your talk seemed to provide much needed help. Your message was exactly what we needed to hear. Thank you so much, sir. Now we are proceeding for the panel discussion. Now I hand over the session to Nitya.
Greetings, everyone. So I'll be moderating today's session. So on the speakers list, we also have Sunkara Srinivas Chakravarti from the UK and Chetna Jain from Hyderabad. So I will be introducing them and we'll read their profile. So firstly, I would like to introduce Srinivas Chakravarti to you all, and I will be taking a minute to read his profile. Srinivas Chakravarti Sunkara holds MSc BTech MIET degrees. He currently works for Veolia UK, which is part of the wider Veolia Environment
Veolia.
SA, a French transnational company with activities in water and energy management. He works both in a managerial and advisory role alongside several project teams within the company in developing technology and systems that enable generation of clean energy from waste and renewable resources to aid the UK's commitment to achieving a net zero emission target by 2050. The role also involves implementing and enhancing systems and processes for better optimization of existing and future assets. Prior to this, he has previously previously been involved in the electrical infrastructure development of 7 MW offshore wind turbines for one of the wind turbine companies at the forefront of renewable energy technology. His career, however, began with working on the design and delivery of the electrical power and propulsion systems for Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carriers for Ministry of Defence UK, whilst working in close partnership with BAE, Thales and Rolls-Royce. In this role, he was also involved in the conceptual design of electromagnetic catapult system EMCAT for the launch of F-35 fighter jets. He enjoys mentoring junior colleagues and passing on the knowledge. He has also traveled extensively in Europe, but insists Scotland is the best place to live in spite of the daily deluge. He has previously spoken in an international human resource seminar for Amity University and the Brexit debate for AGBS Hyderabad. So we extend a warm welcome to you, sir. You can.
Hi, good morning, everyone, and good evening, wherever you are. Sri was telling me I'm Srinivas Sankara, live in Manchester, UK. Firstly, thanks for the invitation to speak. It's appreciate the chance to speak to some of the aspiring and the bright minds that are out there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm not going to bore you to death with information. I'm just going to share what my insight is on what COVID has impacted predominantly on UK businesses and the challenges they face. Take a look at what industries have been affected and gained since the lockdown. Then touch briefly on the challenges and the opportunities entrepreneurs in UK are faced with both at this point in time and the post-COVID era. And finally, I'm just going to quickly look at what the future trend is likely going to be when the world we live in really come to live with the virus. And apologies, I should have made a PowerPoint presentation, but I've just been preoccupied with something else. But at the end, if you're really interested in going through what I've just spoken about, I'm happy to make a presentation and send it to one of the teams. So please do contact them. We all know what COVID is. Everyone's been impacted. The only difference is the degree of or the severity of the impact, depending on where you live. The crisis has really brought an overnight change and disruption to the world of work and the world we live in. Well, some of these changes were kind of bubbling away in the background, but they've simply been accelerated alongside a multitude of completely new changes. But you look back at history, what has history always taught you? Pandemics have helped advanced healthcare systems. Wars, not good, but they've fueled technological innovations. And the global financial crisis, was it a decade ago? It helped companies like Uber and Airbnb advance and grow exponentially. This is where you lot come in, your businesses come in, because businesses play a key role in helping society get through an economic crisis, because they come up with innovations and shape the society after a crisis. If you look at the present scenario, organizations all over the world, businesses have stepped up to the plate. You have distilleries producing hand sanitizers. You have fashion brands like Zara or H&M producing protective gear and supplies to hospitals. You have people like companies like Ford and Philips who've started producing medical kits, life-saving medical kits for the hospital industry. So these are not the things that usually associated with these brands doing, but that's the world we are living in, and that's how companies have adapted. I'm just going to briefly talk about what's the impact on COVID in UK. I'm sure you read the papers, you read the news. But since the lockdown, what's happened is the country has saw an enormous fall in its revenue from its firms. Millions of people have been asked to take a pay cut. About 6.5 million have been furloughed or put on a temporary leave. 2/3 of UK startups expect revenues to drop by more than a quarter, and almost half of them have literally frozen their hiring. 2/3 of the companies believe that they have about 12 months of funds to sustain. It's rather gloomy, if that's the word you want to use. But having said that, the governments in Europe and UK, keep forgetting the whole Brexit thing has happened, but UK government has done I think good work, to be honest. They firstly started a scheme called a job retention scheme, where they pay employees 80% of the salary, and if the company wishes, they can just top it up to make it 100%. Another example is the technology firms. They got about 10 billion pounds investment in 2019, and the government schemes, the UK government schemes, have done a lot to ensure that only a small minority of these tech startup companies have to fold. If you look at Germany, they've put aside about 2 billion euros just to keep its startup companies afloat. I believe France has put about 4 billion euros liquidity plan to support its startups cash flow. So they've done their bit, It's but still there are companies that have unfortunately have to come to an end. That's the nature. That's the impact that COVID has had. But in midst of all this pandemic, there are businesses that have done rather well. Say for instance, Amazon. Amazon has employed about 10,000 additional staff. There are online grocers like Ocado. I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but they've literally got a backlog of deliveries. They're not taking any more online sales. Pharmaceutical companies, well, for obvious reasons, developing the vaccine and other medication. Businesses like Microsoft, that use clouds that allow multiple people to be online at one time. They've seen an absolute huge spike in usage from schools and businesses because they've adopted it as their platform of choice. Any apps or businesses that deal with video conferencing like Zoom that we're currently using, gaming because people have got plenty of time, not being at work, etc. But on the flip side, there have been businesses that have been impacted since the lockdown began. Travel industry, airlines are grounded. There's nobody in the hotels, so everything between airlines and hotels in the travel industry. Tourism, no one's going out. No one's thinking of booking a holiday. Tourism is badly affected. Your traditional retailers, like the ones on your high street shops, like the ones that you go out, your traditional retailers, they've have to close the doors. In the industry, oil and gas, some of these oil and gas companies have their oil reserves estimated to be halved than they were originally at the beginning of the year. So that's a massive impact. The whole pandemic has had positive implications on some companies and absolutely negative on some companies. It's just the way that it's been. If you particularly look at UK, UK have had its own share of challenges, or to put it, the businesses in UK have had its own share of challenges. Staffing has been an absolutely nightmare, to put it mildly. Businesses are now have to manage the staffing and the costs because the demand has reduced. Resource management or the application of resource management has never been put to test at this scale, really. There's a lot of shuffling going on about resource scheduling. The other challenge is health and safety. The governments, obviously, each government across the world are coming up with health and safety guidelines for its people and businesses. It's hard when you have to comply with the social distancing rules, especially in a company that, say, for argument's sake, employs about tens and thousands of people. And you look at services like the public transport. Well, how do you ensure social distance? And when say you're on a bus or a train, it's difficult. But that's a challenge. That's a challenge for the businesses. The revenues have gone down. There is a slowdown in payments. There's a good example here. Media companies in UK, for example, they've found out that their clients or customers have been holding back on making payments. Even when they have healthy cash reserves. People just want to put money in their pocket rather than paying it out. That's unfortunate, but that's the effect. What the pandemic has done is the businesses have literally overridden their what do you call a normal processes and procedures in order to take a quick action. For instance, items that may have to be ordered without a purchase order or being receipted on arrival. What the implication is, the finance teams have to tie the loose ends. So when auditors come to the company, they would expect transparency, which is going to be a struggle. For example, we have a National Health Service, it's called NHS. They're quite concerned that their auditors are going to scrutinize their inventory management and whether or not it's complying with the terms of agreement with the NHS. The next challenge is, or the last challenge, I think, is planning. Well, how do you plan for something in such an unpredictable environment? The best you could do is you could just wait for the government to provide more guidance, ideally some sort of a timeline that outlines sector by sector on how to return business as usual. I'm sure these challenges, or these core challenges are something that's common across businesses in every country. All right, I think things are different in every country, the way that businesses is, etc. But the core challenges are these things that I've just spoken about. But for you, budding entrepreneurs, there are other challenges to deal with. Unfortunately, the whole current situation is unsettling and it's unprecedented, if that's the word to describe it. And to make matters worse, the risk of investing during a crisis has led literally many investors to back away and even reduce the terms and conditions. So it's challenging, and it is going to be challenging for you entrepreneurs if when you're moving to your next phase of life. But there are things you could do, not necessarily what I'm going to preach you now, but I thought I'll just come up with something that I think it'd be useful to you. The very first thing, the days in the military, it really doesn't matter which direction you choose to move when you're under an attack, just so as long as you move. What I'm trying to convey is you need to take action and move forward. Quick thinking is necessary. It's definitely necessary in the face of uncertainty. But the problem is there are high stakes, and it's usually when you can't take a decision because you're overthinking. And when you delay your decisions, it'll simply pile on more problems eventually. So what I would say is, yes, to take a decision is a challenge. Take a decision at the right time is a challenge, but try to keep it simple. Try to keep it straight. It's called KISS. It's something that I've picked up when I was working on the aircraft carriers. It's one of the company mottos, to keep it simple and straight. What you then got to do, you got to keep up with legislation. you have to monitor news from your local, your state government updates. Make sure you're getting the right information from an official source or any other professionals in your network. Just make sure you don't follow information blindly. I think that's the key. The third challenge you're going to face is psychological. It's about having a healthy mindset, really. You know, it's undoubtedly there's a ton of fear. There's plenty of anxiety. There's plenty of hopelessness. But don't let it get to you. You know, take some time off. Indulge in something that you cherish. You know, I don't know, going for a walk, having a drink with your best mate. You know, whatever tickles your fancy. Just take some time off. You know, have a clear head. That's very important. The other challenge would be how do you deal with too much information or information overload. I don't know how many of you are aware, but in 2018 there were 3 MIT scholars who did a study. What they found out that false news spreads more rapidly on social networks like Twitter than real news does, and that too by a substantial margin. So you as entrepreneurs need to take a step back, evaluate what the information, fact check it, and make sure it's from a reliable source. You know, after all, information is wealth. I'm sure you agree on that. So these I think are the challenges that you're likely to face. Well, I hope you don't, but you are likely to face. Keep it simple. Keep it cool. You know, because things have been challenging, and there's no denying that. But having said that, you know, if there are challenges the UK businesses have faced, there are challenges that you as entrepreneurs are going to face. But if you take a look at what the businesses have done in these crises, I know Fanny was saying about was it Deliveroo? I think, you know, even in UK they've come up with contact-free delivery. That's something that's been mimicked right across the food industry. Musicians and artists have performed live. One thing that has really kicked off in UK is businesses encouraging people to buy gift cards, you know, to ensure that you buy a gift card today, so that you're paying for it, and then they are going to sell you the product when you obviously go into the shops. So the businesses have to adopt. They have to change the way they operate, and whether you like it or not, it's there are going to be persistent changes in the societies and in how your consumer need or your consumer habits. You know, it's because of these changes there is a very likely possibility that you can uncover some valuable business opportunities for startups. Take a look for example, the demand for remote working, e-commerce, education, and health systems. They are, well, at least in the short run, they've changed. You never know. Cities and future societies might be transformed in the future. So it's important to assess what sort of opportunities you have from these crises. Really, I'm going to briefly talk about what opportunities you might be able to catch on to at the moment and post this crisis. Really, I've put together a few items here. One thing I've noticed is the businesses have become delivery friendly. You know, it's not just merely about arranging the logistics, etc. It's about you know, making sure that the experience for the customer is as smooth as possible, for like walking through the steps they would normally take themselves if they're in a shop. It's important that when you set up a website or something, it's important that it's easy to find. Is there a delivery option that is easy to find? Are your products adapted to being sent? That kind of simple things. Everybody knows. I mean, I'm sure you lot know it even more. Online opportunities have tremendously increased. So I think it's vital to have an online presence where you can promote your services and stay in touch with your customers. It's also important to have an up-to-date social media profile about your company, and it should be easy and attractive to use. It's also important that you have an understanding of your surrounding environment and its needs and expectations. You basically need to understand what's going around you. There's no point you don't know what's going around you, and then you market yourselves out there. If you're already doing business, if you're already an entrepreneur, please make sure you motivate your work staff. It's key. They deserve it. It's them who do the work for you. But above everything, I think it's really important to pivot. You've got to be prepared to pivot. Take examples like Google or Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. They're all prime examples. How they've evolved significantly over the time, all in line with what their users needed. Those companies have benefited from sort of a change in the consumer behavior. Why can't you do it? Follow your instincts, but obviously follow what your users or consumers need. So it's very important to carefully pivot your business models as per the changed, how should I say, industry dynamics. Finally, if you ask me what's the key for an entrepreneur, it's up here. It's your mindset. You cannot be passive. You cannot just sit tight and say, yeah, well, you know what, storm's gonna pass. Yeah, it's wishful thinking, but it ain't gonna happen in a month of Sundays. So you know what, face it. There's nothing else you could do. The worst is gonna happen is gonna fail, but please give you a chance to try again.
Yeah. Thank you so much for all the valuable insights and keeping the time in mind to proceed the program. I would now want to introduce Chetna Jain, our speaker for today as well. So I will just be reading a brief profile of Chetna Jain and introduce her to talk to the gathering. Thank you so much for your insights, and thank you for taking us through the European market and giving us more insights about the European market.
Thank you, Sri. Good luck.
So Chetna Jain is a chief architect and director of the firm Drumitaru Consultants based at Hyderabad, having a presence of almost 2 decades in the market. She is a certified corporate director from the Institute of Directors and a certified soft skill trainer. She has conducted various training programs for corporates on various subjects and had conducted trainings for various women's self-help groups for entrepreneurship development. She has contributed largely to women empowerment, skill development, and scaling up and capacity building for businesses. She has taken training program at MCHRD for 300 IAS officers from different states of India on subjects like crisis management, problem solving, effective public speaking, to name a few. So she has won various awards like Outstanding Women Entrepreneur Award from COVI India consecutively for 2 years, 2014 and 2015. Outstanding Women Entrepreneur Award from Women Glory in 2016. She received the Vishwakarma Award as the Best Professionally Managed Company for the year 2018 from Construction Industry Development Council, a constituent of Niti Aayog. She has honored as a speaker on sustainable development goals at the UN Summit at New York 2018. Chetna ma'am, we welcome you to talk and address again.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nitya, for the wonderful introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful intro, and not taking much of the time, I would like to start ahead. We've heard quite a few of our speakers talk on the US markets as well as the UK markets. What I would like to focus today is the changing normal after the COVID has happened. Yes, we all are facing some challenges, I understand. But what is it that we gain? And what is it that we do when we are faced with a challenge? That is the most important aspect I would like to concentrate on. As entrepreneurs, see, we all understand that, you know, we have to begin young. We have to start young because fortunately, India has got a demographic class of people who surpass the age of students, and they can become entrepreneurs. They can try their entrepreneur skills right now because most of the colleges, most of the educational institutions are focusing on this particular aspect. We've seen that due to this pandemic, yes, the new normal has come in. Lots of businesses are functioning a different way, and the employment opportunities are jeopardized in at the most. So here is an opportunity when we should look at building ourselves into entrepreneurs. How we take this forward, that is one of the key drivers we need to think on. This is a time when most of the students should start looking at new business ideas. How are we going to do? Like one of our speakers was mentioning that most of these fashion houses, they have started manufacturing medical kits, masks, and maybe the other accessories. Why? Because people have started adapting themselves to change. Change is one thing which is really constant. And today we need to realize that as budding entrepreneurs, we need that we think in a new way. We think in a different way. How are we going to survive and come up with ideas that are going to build the future for us? This becomes a very, very important aspect. As we think and as we talk through entrepreneurship, first and foremost thing we need to have is what kind of passion we have in us to look at to build up a business. See, whatever you want, dreaming big, dreaming small, or whatever you want to dream, first thing is how passionate you are about doing this. Challenges, yes, there will be lots of challenges, they will keep on bogging you down, but how far you are going to sustain these challenges and move ahead, that is very, very important today. If you ask me, businesses which are decades old are also unable to thrive in this crisis, but that doesn't mean that they will shut shop. They are going to try and look at new ways to see that they see through this particular crisis. In the same way, this is the time when you should start looking at new business ideas. Okay, I can give you a small example. We were in craze for these malls and, you know, multi-level shopping ideas. But during this pandemic, we all came back to the normal mom and pop kind of a retail store shopping. So see the shift. There is a shift in consumer behavior. There is a shift because the situation demanded so. But that doesn't mean that the situation will continue to be so bad. Yes, there will be far-reaching effects of this particular situation for a long time to come. But then how we are going to sail through this, how we are going to build constructive measures, how we are going to build new ideas to counter this particular situation will be one of the focus areas for us as budding entrepreneurs. And you have an opportunity here. Let me tell you, yes, it is a challenge that here we are sitting at home, we are using the digital platforms. See the shift we have made. Earlier, it was personal one-on-one seminars. It was a gathering kind of a seminar. We had personal people talk to us and we enjoyed it because there was a lot of human interaction. But today we are conversing with each other on a virtual platform, on a digital platform. But look at the advantage. You are able to reach out to international speakers who are able to share their thoughts with you, sitting in the comfort of your home. So haven't we adapted ourselves to this? Yes, we have done. So is it with the business idea. How you term it. First and foremost thing, what is it that holds for you in your idea? How strong is your idea? Please see how you can weigh it up. Look at the pros, look at the cons, and start moving ahead. Then you also need to see, as we said, yes, because there is a financial crisis, the economic situation is really bad. You may not have people coming ahead right away to finance your ideas. But then how will you start? Should that stop you there? What is the alternative you can look at? Because the government today in India has come up with lot many ideas wherein they are encouraging people to come up with their own units. They have started modifying the financing opportunities. They have come up with lot many schemes. So what it needs from our end is look at these schemes, how much we can benefit from them, where we can position ourselves in such a way that we can align ourselves with this idea of the government. We can align ourselves with this idea of moving forward, and how sustainable is our idea. No idea is bad, no idea is small, but at the same time, how sustainable we are. Like Mr. Srinivas was saying, yes, sometimes failures will be there, but you need to hang on. But then you cannot keep on doing this trial and error. So better do this trial and error right at the beginning. Try and understand what is it that is a roadblock for you. What is it that could stop you, and at what stage? And believe me, my dear friends, unless otherwise we are very, very passionate about what we are trying to do, it will fizzle out someday. We need lots of focus to do this. You need to dream big. You need to eat it. You need to sleep your dream. You need to dwell on it every day to understand and get you there. You need lots of focus. And that is something which, luckily, yes, you are sitting at home today. You have lots of time on your hand. Why not utilize this time in trying to understand and jotting down what you could do? I always encourage youngsters that please do not wait for somebody to employ you. Why do you always look up and say that, yes, my ultimate goal is to, graduate from a good college and get a good job? Why always do you be a job seeker? Why not shift your idea and become a job giver? Why not we think that, yes, we can also create jobs? If all of us thought that we wanted to work for somebody, then who would be an entrepreneur? Where would the industries grow? So the idea is, please focus on developing your ideas, focus on being independent, focus on trying to give a more meaningful presence of you into the economy, maybe big or small, because you as the youth are the people who can drive this economy, contribute very, very effectively to the GDP of this country. Now, when we say local to global, our focus is to see that we get into manufacturing sector, service providers are there, manufacturing industries are there, and of late I have been looking at a lot of businesses. Everything, you look at big businesses, but there are also small suppliers who supply small components to these big businesses, and they are doing quite well. That means you need not be doing a major business, but you can also be a component of a larger business. And believe me, my dear friends, you will be the ones who will be a key component of that big business. I don't know how many of you know about this. There was a company called this Kumar Shirts. Kumar Shirts at one point in time was one brand which was very well known with the middle class people because it was affordable. It was very good with its color, quality, and very attractive. These people, when they entered the market, they were small, but they realized because the way they had positioned themselves, they started growing enormously, and there was a huge demand for the shirts. So what did they do? They did not wait and manufacture the whole shirt in their unit. They outsourced a collar to somebody. They outsourced a cuffs to somebody. They outsourced the sewing of the buttons to somebody. And once these components were sent back to the main factory, it was assembled there and then marketed and sent into the market for sale. So see, this is how it works. Even today, if you look at the hotels, there is somebody who is supplying vegetables. There is somebody who's supplying some other components. You can look into businesses like that also. You need not have to say that, I will only do this and break it big. Sometimes it so happens, somebody was mentioning at the beginning that, to become yes, Dr. Jacqueline was mentioning, to become an entrepreneur, what you need is not a degree. What you need is a dream. What you need is a passion. What you need is focus. You need lots of hard work. There will be failures. There will be roadblocks, but that should not stop you. That should be something which should keep on driving you. Yes, when you hit a roadblock, please analyze where is it that we failed? What is it better we can do for the next time? What is it that we can do to move forward? Do not start looking backward. What we need is to move forward. You must be thinking, everybody is talking of a failing economy which is going down. And here there is somebody who's telling you that, you need to move forward. Yes, we are living every day. We are breathing every day. We are living in the hope of having a new day every day, isn't it? So that means every day we will have to look up to coming up with something new. Let's break the norm of trying to have this normal routine. Yes, I get into a good degree, I get into a good college, then I come up with a good grade and I get into a job. Please, let's get out of this mold. We need to give a new meaning to this. We need to give a whole new direction. I say this to you youngsters because it is very, very important that we get out of our comfort zones today. We cannot live the same comfortable life where, we had lots of jobs. We said, yes, we can just apply and get the job. People today, most of the employees are worried about their jobs. They do not know which company would just get them off their roles. So in such a scenario, instead of waiting for a job, I would say that you become the job provider. Look at all the opportunities that the government is providing to you, what you can do. Okay, today somebody might say, I want to come up with a small workshop, maybe somebody who's done his mechanical engineering. You can also get into something like manufacturing a small component. I know a woman, she manufactures components for fans. And in this process, what she's done is, she has about a group of 20 women who are not very formally educated. She assembles them, she makes them sit down and assembles those components for her, and she supplies it to the bigger fan companies. So see how a business opportunity is created here, how an employment opportunity is created here. Yes, it is a small thing. You might think, what is a big deal that you have a lady gathering a 20 women group and getting them to assemble components for you? But no, look at the larger picture of it. You are providing employment to 20 women. You are empowering 20 women, by which you mean to say that you are empowering 20 families. It need not be women per se every time. It could, this is a situation I'm referring to everybody. How best you can do to empower yourselves and in the process empower the others. That is the crux of the situation today. We have to empower ourselves, and to empower ourselves because we are lucky enough that we've been educated in the best institutions. We are getting the formal education to think forward. We know where the road leads us to. We are happy that we've been provided with this kind of a background. And it is the right time that you utilize this to make something meaningful. Every time, do not dwell on what could fail. Please look up to what that is, that one thing that will help you move ahead. Now today, as an architect, if you ask me, all right, what is it that's happening? The construction industry was closed for about 3 months. Most of my labor have gone back to their native places. I do not have the normal workforce. But do I have to stop myself here? Do I have to say that, okay, because they have gone, I shut shop? No, I will have to start looking at new things. I will have to see, okay, smaller component. I outsource this to somebody. I tell a guy, okay, come on, gather a few people and you start getting at this job. I tell my boys, all right, let's start working on TeamViewer. I share my ideas, you share your ideas. We brainstorm and we get back to work. So this is how we've been working. Not a single day we sat workless or jobless. We were working all the time. This was the time we utilized to come up with new ideas in the building industry. We said, what is the new normal for the design? If at all isolation centers have to be provided in offices, we said, yes, suppose there is somebody who is away from his hometown and is working in a different city, and there is some pandemic like this and he needs to be isolated. Where do you send this guy? So let us have a small isolation facility along with the new buildings that are coming up. What is the kind of medical facility, immediate medical facility we can ramp up? What is the kind of new design normal that I can create? Earlier we said we need more open spaces. Now we say we need more of closed spaces. So this is the kind of research we've been working on. So my dear friends, I do not want to take a long time and dwell on this, but simply I would like to tell you, this lost time never comes back. And the time, if you lose, cribbing on the circumstances around you, saying this is not right and that is not right, believe me, this is not going to come back. And I feel this is the time when we could have conducted an introspection, a retrospection, and started off on ideas that we could have worked, because we have lots of time on hand. We can work on the idea, we can rework on the idea. You can keep on doing your research, you can start talking to people. You need not physically move. You have your virtual platforms. You can, your professors are also free, so they have more time on hand to discuss these ideas with you. Take the best advantage of this time. Keep connecting to people who can help you move ahead, who can tell you, yes, this is the innovation you can make to your idea. And believe me, come up with innovative ideas. Don't go by the old rigmaroles. Come up with something innovative. Come up with something which can, create a bang for itself, and you can launch yourself. You can say, yes, I am there. I have a new idea today. Even during the pandemic, I've been reading, kids have been developing apps for COVID. Kids have been developing certain ways of self-testing yourself. Some kind of kits have been developed. So look at this. People are researching on the subject. They are not idling away the time. So that's very important. And as youngsters, I would always say, my dear friends, you have all the energy in the world with you. You are in a very comfortable zone because your parents are already supporting you. Utilize this time to dream big. Utilize this time to come up with ideas that can change the face of this country, because you and I are the face of this country. Nobody else is going to come and do something for you. It is you who has to do something. If you want to be happy, it starts with you. If you want to succeed, it starts with you. And if you want to contribute and make yourself as a person, see, it's every day. I think lakhs of people are born and lakhs of people are dying. But have they created an impact on the earth that they've walked? Have they made a name for themselves? I don't know. So you should be the one who should be making a name for yourself. Think that way. Let's not be one of those who walk this earth, insignificantly and go down. Let's try and do some of our bit. It's not for the laurels that you should be working. It is for your satisfaction. People need not recognize you as long as you recognize yourself. Because, when you respect yourself, you start respecting others. When you start working on something constructive, you get a herd of people who start joining you for this positive path. So let's try doing this and start now. This is the right time for you to start. When we started probably 2 decades ago, we did not have people to guide us like this. We did not have people to talk to us like this. But today you are lucky enough. You have people who are guiding you, you have people who are carving out a processed path to take you there, so that you are saved the time of experimenting and this trial and error. Whereas we were doing this trial and error to succeed, you can skip this trial and error period and move ahead with great speed. So my dear friends, wishing you all the best. I hope all of you try and start working on new ideas. Let's all together, try and make this mission local to global successful. It starts with each one of us. Don't think what I can do. I'm just a minuscule part of the story. No, you could be a significant part of the story. So start thinking. Good luck and all the best. Thank you for this opportunity, St. Peter's College. And thank you for definitely having me here and share my thoughts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chetna ma'am. Thank you for all your insights and emphasizing on entrepreneurship and how to getting started early will help everybody. And now I would like to tell everybody that the panel is open for your questions. So you can type your questions in the chat box and our speakers will be able to answer you all.
If you have any question, you can raise your hand. The admin can unmute and you can put a question.
Present ఎవరు కూడా అంటున్నారు. మళ్ళీ చేయిస్తాను, చెప్తాను.
Anybody having questions, you can please raise your hand so that the admin can unmute you all. Okay, to start with, I had a question about the gig economy that Funny Sir has mentioned, and how we can incorporate gig economy in the initial stages, and if students want to start, so how can we focus on that particular part for now?
Is he there? I think he's left because he has to attend a call. It seems he was just messaging me.
Yeah, well, I think one of us can take the question.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you come back with the question, please?
Yes, ma'am. As Funny Sir focused on this gig economy, I want to know how students can incorporate, and if they want to start up, and initially how they can focus on this particular piece.
Yeah, Funny Sir was talking about gig economy. Now, when you look at this, the first thing that comes to your mind in a gig economy is how you channelize your talent, how you outsource your things, and how you start building it up. So it's like this. Suppose you can identify opportunities as to how you can be an outsourced partner or a person who can deliver this particular service that a particular company is looking for. Right. Now, suppose, let us look at our own example, Nitya. You are a college, and how this gig economy works. COVE is one of your channel partner here, right? So that way you can get number of channel partners here to help you get through this, and students can also become one of the channel partners, and they can move ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Jyotsna and Chetna, can I just emphasize on the point which I noted while Funny was
just a second, Rama.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a second, Rama. I just take it a little forward. Is one of the things in gig economy is if you look, there's so many are getting accessed that are getting so talent where I can be of some help to the customers. This is the way you have to basically connect things. There are so many such kind of things, like, as you said, Uber Eats. So somebody who has a vehicle and then somebody who can deliver food. So what happens is, in general, when it comes to other countries, our students are taking pride in working in restaurants or doing billing and all. When it comes to our country, then again, these kind of things are still in the very niche. So how students looking at their own time, their own resources? I have a wheeler, I have a license, evenings I can do this. I know how to do billing in a supermarket. So can I do these kind of services? So how do I put in my services and get some economy running through this? So Urban Club offers series of talents, like, series of services. In which service can I put in myself and then do it? So this is what a gig economy basically helps people to reach out to. Yeah. Thanks.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
We have so many ideas, like ideas are flooding.
Yes.
We do not know how to bring one idea and get into a business. See, we have so many talents and the skills. We learn so many concepts. We have so many dreams. And sometimes we stop thinking about starting a business because we have so many ideas. We could not put it in one nutshell idea. So what is your suggestion as an entrepreneur? You are a owner of some company. So we are really proud of you. Just to guide us how to put one idea into implementation.
Chetna, it's for you.
Okay. All right. Dolly ma'am, I totally agree with you. We get a lot of ideas and we think, we can do lot many things. If I'm there, I can see, I feel I can do this, I can do that.
Yeah.
But then there is a true calling for us.
Okay.
We all know what is our strength and what is our weakness. So first and foremost thing, when you have so many ideas, let us evaluate our strengths and weaknesses. What is it that I can contribute with this idea, with my strength, and move forward? Because that is very important. Now, suppose I am there. If you ask me to speak, I can happily speak. That's my strength. But suppose you go and ask me to do, go and market something, probably I cannot market it properly because I'm not a marketing person at all. So it is the same thing. Marketing also involves talking, but as a speaker also I talk. But where does my strength lie? So this is where we will have to evaluate ourselves. Hundreds of ideas we can write down. So suppose I am there. If I get 2 or 3 ideas, I write them down. I jot them down, and then I start looking at it. Okay, what me as a person can work on? What is it that I can contribute? How much of a resource from my side I can put? And first and foremost thing I'll see is, am I really passionate about it? Or I'm just getting these ideas, so I'm writing them down. So if I'm passionate, yes, I'll work towards it. So that is very, very important. And once you start, what I do is, okay, I give myself about 4 to 5 days. Day 1, I write down all my ideas. Day 2, again, I revisit and write down all my ideas. So by the time I come back to day 5, my list starts shortening because I understand that day 1, I was over enthusiastic. I feel I can do everything. But then by the time I come back to day 5, my list of 10 objects has apparently come down to 5 objects. So that is where, I will be able to simplify it for myself and then probably make a right decision in the direction.
Thank you, Chetna ma'am. And do we have any more questions?
Ma'am, one more question. If you see in Indian entrepreneurship scenario, especially 95% of the startups, they are failed, madam.
Yes.
Means that they are not survivable in the market and compared to that corporate sector and all. Okay. So is there any measurement, madam? What kind of measure if you can take it that we can eradicate that failures?
Yeah, what you said is a very valid point that people are starting. Because as you said, as Dolly ma'am also is saying, there people are flooded with ideas.
Yes.
See, our ideas are like vehicle on the highway.
Yes.
We always think once you overtake one vehicle, you think that you have gone far ahead. But then once you go another 1 kilometer, you will find another car ahead of you. So our ideas are also like that, there's nothing like a unique idea. There's nothing like something which has never been tried, or it's there always in some form or the other. So one thing is you have to accept that there is lot of, there are these things already flooding in the market. So first, one of the main things is people are going only with passion into the market.
Yes.
One, passion is something which belongs to your heart. Yes. Plan is something which belongs to your head. Yes. Business is something where unless your head and heart combines, things doesn't work out. So many of them just very passionately, I know this, I can do this, I have this talent. Your talent is just not enough to run a business. You require many other aspects, which tomorrow we will anyway be taking at going into how to start a structured business. So that will be the tomorrow's session anyways. But I'm just saying, so this kind of a balance between your head and heart is very much needed, that you mix you understand your passion, you know your strengths, but at the same time, what works? What is the market strategy? What is happening in the market? So your passion, your strength is internal. What is
Yes.
there in the market is external. So unless you join the external needs and your internal strengths, you cannot arrive at a good business plan. So many times what I have seen these startups is people go with these assumptions that doing a business means lot of freedom.
Yes.
People think I have flexible timings and hence I can do business. But once they get into, they understand that it is lot more commitment. It is lot more focus. Job at least 10 to 5, and after that you don't have to worry too much. But business is 24/7, you have to worry about it. So once they understand these things, slowly that heat is fizzling out. Like, you go and listen to a good speech, it is called as 1 hour BP. So your BP is high after 60 minutes of listening to a good speech, you are motivated. But after 61st minute, slowly you're going down, down, down. How do I keep my BP on the same level, the excitement same, is only when your head also starts interacting with your heart. So many times these things are missed out. So when I have an idea, don't jump into business. First, you sit with the people who are already in the business, shadow them, especially for youngsters, I would say shadow them. See how they are doing this business, do some market research, because business is not about earning money. Business is about providing solutions, is about taking care of somebody's needs. So if you are only doing what you like, but not understanding what others want, then that link is broken. So that's the reason why startups fail.
I just want to add one more thing, Josna, here.
Yeah, please go ahead.
The Indian scenario, especially, most of the people who come up with these startup ideas, I don't know why, but they have this wrong notion that, you come up with a startup, build it up, start earning money, and then sell it off for a higher price.
Yeah.
So for most people, the idea of a startup means build a company, start earning well, and sell it off. So that is, I think, the first approach to the whole idea itself is wrong. We are not thinking of a startup as a sustainable business model. So that is where most of the startups fail, because what they think is, okay, if I am doing this, I have studied a few startup plans. This is how they think. Yes, today I have this idea. I'm working on this. This is a new idea in the market. Definitely this will work for me. How long this will work? Okay, let me see. Maybe 1 year, 2 years, I definitely get some angel investors to invest into my idea, take it forward. But later, okay, investment has come, but where are the returns coming from? That is what they are not thinking about. They're only looking at people getting investment and moving forward, but they're not concentrating more on the returns. And once, even if the returns start coming, even by the time they break even, they are in a hurry to just sell it off for a bigger price to the companies. And that is where I think we are seeing most of the startups failing.
Thank you, Chetna ma'am. So if we do not have any more questions, we can proceed with the vote of thanks. Narasimha Raju sir, you can
Thank
take.
you. Thank you. A very good evening, one and all who are present here. On behalf of St. Martin Engineering College, Department of MBA, I thank COVID team for their valuable support in conducting this workshop. I thank Vice President Kobe, Josna Cheru. I thank Chief Guest, Dr. Jacqueline Williams, Dean of Commerce and BBA at Loyola Academy. I thank Ms. Chaitana Jain, Chief Architect and Director, Dromataru Consultants, for giving insights to architect lives of our young body managers. Thank you, ma'am. And I thank Mr. S.S. Chakravarti, Manager and Advisor, Veolia UK, for your valuable insights about a reality check of global economic conditions. I convey my thank to Mr. Pani Chaturvedula, Managing Director, Ernest Young and LLP USA, for his encouraging and scintillating session on scope, opportunities, and challenges local to global in this short period of time. Thank you, sir, for your enlightening and encouraging us and our young buddies towards entrepreneurship. I would like to convey my gratitude to the management of SMBC for their valuable support, and I sincerely thank to Dr. Santosh Kumar Patra, Principal SMBC, who always motivates us with his dynamic thoughts. And I thank Dr. Dolly Diana Madam, Professor and Dean, who always guide us in our right path. And I thank Dr. Y. Venkatarangaya, Sir, HOD MBA, for his encouragement. I thank all the HODs of various department and technical staff for their support. And I sincerely appreciate my department faculty for their efforts and hard work and endless support in organizing this wonderful event. Once again, I sincerely thank all the participants for your patient listening. So we will close this session today, and we'll meet tomorrow for inspiring session exactly at 4 p.m. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So all the participants will be having a session tomorrow on and more insights on entrepreneurship and need for change, self-discovery, and how to grab opportunities in the market. So if you have further questions or anything, you can park them for tomorrow, and make sure that you ask questions tomorrow as well. We'll have the speakers to answer for you all. Thank you. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Nitya. Thank you, Chetna ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you. We'll meet tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.